What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you are on Twitter or you follow anything in the DC world, there has been a lot going on the past couple of days. It's been, you know, nothing short of the drama that we tend to see in this fandom. Hope everyone's doing well out there. But I'm sure most of you are familiar with Grace Randolph and the commotion she has caused recently, talking about The Flash and what it's supposedly going to do and what it's supposed to mean for the future of the DC universe. I don't know if this is true, but it's causing so much discussion. Even Forbes and like big name TMZ, big media is talking about it. She said that The Flash, as I've told you with update, okay, The Flash, Batfleck's final appearance, old footage of Cavill used on TV, new Justice League formed, Supergirl's new Superman, Keaton working with Black Canary, picks Batgirl as new Batman. This is new DC. Let's be open-minded and give it a fair shot. So, it's no surprise that this has caused a frenzy in the fandom, and especially if you on Twitter. But, like I said, we don't know if this is true. I think The Flash is probably, I've never seen so much commotion about a movie. Like this movie is just like nonstop. I mean, I guess you could say Spider-Man No Way Home was kind of that way, but not in this, but it was more positive. Like people were excited to see, spoiler alert, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield return. So I think this movie has so much stacked against it, unfortunately, that I don't know. I feel bad for Ezra Miller and Andy Muschietti, like everyone involved in the movie. I do feel bad because the fans have been waiting for the Flash movie for so long, and it's been several years delayed. They finally started production on it last year or earlier this year, whenever it was. It's finally coming out. Well, we're in 2022 now, so yeah, later this year. Last year they started production. Sorry, I'm still in 2021. It's just been a mess. I feel like one step forward and two steps back constantly with this movie. And it's just unfortunate. I tweeted about it. I didn't quote the tweet or anything like that, but I just said, we all know how Warner Brothers feels about Zack Snyder, the Snyder fandom, the Snyderverse. They've made that pretty clear. And so if this turns out to be true, or some of it, it really shouldn't come as much of a surprise to, the fans or anyone who has followed the DC universe and all of the drama that has happened with it. Is it disappointing if some of this stuff is true? Yeah, sure. For those of us who love Henry Cavill as Superman, who love Ben Affleck as Batman, who want to see them continue in some way, shape, or form, then yeah, that would be disappointing, obviously. But surprising, no. So I don't see why it would be such a shock if this were true, because we all know how Warner Brothers feels about the whole just Snyder everything as far as the DCEU is concerned. But Ezra Miller did reply to a message on a DM on Instagram. He does have Instagram now. There's his handle, and it's verified, Ezra Miller. I looked it up before I made this video. The message said, fans are going crazy thinking the movie is erasing Zack's movies. They don't see the potential this movie will bring. He said, no power or force in any known megaverse would or could ever erase Zack Snyder's mighty works. You can take that quote, take that to the bank, to the press, to the schools, to the military, and the other pillar of capitalism I'm forgetting, because of that thing where if you try to think of a group of things, you always forget one of them. So coming from Ezra Miller, he's saying that there's no way that this, nothing can ever erase what Zack did. And I also had tweeted about that as well. No matter what happens moving forward with the DC cinematic universe, nothing will ever take away from this. Nothing. The fact that it was released, the fact that we got Zack's 4-hour version, the fact that he restored it, the fact that it was a huge success worldwide, no matter what WB wants to say or not say. Well, I should say the US headquarters of WB. Other international headquarters have made it very obvious that it's been a success in, around the world. But regardless of how, and at the end of the year, just a few weeks ago, we saw all of the things coming out about, Zack Snyder's Justice League was getting a ton of recognition for being on lists of, greatest movies of the year and top movies of the year, and, different, metrics that were used to measure watched streams or whatever, all those, different, not directly from HBO Max, but, even their marketing team shared things like that. So, we know that it's a huge success because if it weren't, WB would have been ready to just shout that from the rooftops. So that's the success and the impact that it has had nothing will ever change that or take that away from Zach or the fans or anyone, the cast, anybody. So, I that's that just is. So, I think there's going to continue to be tons of speculation and rumors and, this and that about The Flash. And because it has Michael Keaton and because Michael Keaton is also going to be in Batgirl. And, there's just going to be a lot of that until we actually see the movie. And we had that one little teaser that we saw at DC Fandom, but we haven't had a full-length trailer yet for this movie. So I think maybe when we see that, we might get a little bit better taste of what's going to happen. We know Supergirl's going to be in it, obviously. So, Ben Affleck's Batman is in the movie. There's been even before that tweet from Chris Randolph, there's been a lot of speculation that this will be his last appearance as Batman in this universe. I don't know if that's true. Like I said, it's just all going to be. But Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti had said before, it will not erase what has happened already. So I still want to hold on to that because they did say that before. It's just opening more of the multiverse to show that there are they're bringing on these other universes. Obviously, if Michael Keaton's in it, they're opening up the multiverse, but it's not going to erase what has happened. So I'm holding on to that. I want to hold on to that because they said that themselves. And now seeing that message, what Ezra Miller said, I do think that, we need to remember those things that are said directly from from the people making the movie. So there's also word that a director's cut of The Flash is being put together. So that's interesting. I guess it wouldn't be interesting if it weren't this universe that we were talking about, this movie universe. Plenty of movies I think all movies have more than one cut, obviously. But, if we weren't talking about the DC Cinematic Universe, it wouldn't be much of a story to point this out. But because of the history that Warner Brothers has with meddling and messing things up and not letting directors have their creative freedom, that's why I think it's a little interesting that this is coming out publicly. Of course, there's people saying that it could just be, they might really, when they release the hard copy, maybe there will be some extra footage or unseen things, added. All of that probably seems likely. And that studios do see different versions that the director puts together for them to see. So all of that, yes, I understand that. But like I said, because of the studio and movie universe we're talking about, it's just going to be a story for those reasons alone. It's also coming out, because of this whole discussion, people are saying that, Ben Affleck doesn't want to come back, or, Henry Cavill is not returning as Superman because he's making certain requests or demands that the studio is not willing to fulfill, which I wouldn't be surprised by that, because if he actually was supposed to do the cameo at the end of the first Shazam movie but didn't, I think he probably is. I wonder, it's possible that the studio was like, oh, well, that little cameo will fulfill one of the movies listed on your contract. Oh, there you go. There's another movie. I'm sure it's because he has been saying, even more recently, in Witcher press interviews, he wants to continue what was started with Man of Steel. And obviously, if the studio doesn't want to continue down that road, they're not going to come to an agreement. If he wants a full movie instead of just a bunch of cameos here and there, and he wants to continue with a certain version or portrayal of Superman, and the studio wants him to be all goofy and funny and like, throwing jokes around and being corny and cheesy, like, I mean, it's obvious that's what the studio wants. However, that's not what the fans want, and that's not what Henry Cavill wants to do. He doesn't want to make a fool of Superman. So, if they can't come to an agreement on how they want to portray Superman and how they want him, if they don't want to give him his own solo film again, another solo film for him, then, I don't think he's willing to settle for a dumbed down version of Superman that makes some, half-hearted cameos and appearances in other movies, which I don't blame him for. And the fans don't want that either. We want the studio to take him seriously and to, invest in what, I mean, he's said, I'm waiting. Like, I want to play Superman again. But if the studio was like, well, you're going to, okay, if they can't come to an agreement, it's not really a surprise if that's what's actually happening behind the scenes. And just to throw this out there because I think it's disappointing, Morbius has been delayed again to April 1st. It was supposed to finally come out at the end of this month, which it's already been pushed back like a couple of times. So some people are saying that they're adding Andrew Garfield in like for reshoots, or I don't know if that's true. That would be a cool reason, I guess, if that's why it was delayed. But I know they said it's because of, another surge in a COVID variant. But, of course, people want to hope that it's because of adding in Andrew Garfield after seeing Spider-Man. But it's just, I don't know. We've all seen the recent comment from Zach saying not to lose hope and, to never lose hope. So I do, I still want to have a positive outlook for the Flash movie, but I think there's just so many things stacked against it, and having, so living in this age where we see so much stuff on social media and things come out about the movie that we otherwise wouldn't know about, it kind of taints things a little bit, you know what I mean? And just because of the history with Justice League and everything, it just, WB kind of, shot themselves in the foot with that whole thing. And, hopefully it turns out for the better and it can kind of, ease some of the anxiety that fans are having about the Snyderverse. I just think it's just going to kind of be a mess unless or until there's a huge cleanup. And we'll see if that happens with the Discovery merger. But till then, we just won't know. But sorry for all the rambling. It's just been a big few days of talk and, all of this stuff going on. But, Zack Snyder's Justice League and Restore the Snyderverse continue to trend and be a huge discussion and point of discussion. And that alone should be a positive thing for Discovery to be paying attention to. But thanks you guys for watching, and check out the links in the description. If you're new, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my videos, and we'll see you guys next time.